Hello and welcome to Mastermind with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are Dan Shoesmith, a legal operations specialist. His subject is the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Emma Cresswell, a teacher. She'll be answering questions on the celebrated sculptor Henry Moore. James Sowden, a wine merchant. His specialist subject is the award-winning band Elbow. And Morgan Bush, a student whose subject is the 16th century monarch Edward VI. Take 4 fabulous contenders. Add 2 minutes of questions on their specialist subject and 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Stir in a ticking clock, frayed nerves, and the forbidding black chair. And what do you have? A recipe for a wonderful night's entertainment, of course, and possibly for one of our quizzes, a place in the Mastermind semi-final. Bon appetit! So, can I ask our first contender to join us, please? Your name?
Dan Shoesmith.
Your occupation?
Legal operations specialist.
And your specialist subject?
The Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Episodes 7, 8 and 9 of the science fiction film series released between 2015 and 2019. In 2 minutes, let's go. In The Force Awakens, a stormtrooper called FN 2187 escapes from the evil First Order with the help of the Resistance pilot Poe Dameron, who gives him what new name?
Finn.
Yes, the orphan scavenger Rey was brought up on what desert planet, which the Jedi Master Luke Skywalker describes as pretty much nowhere?
Jakku.
Yes, in The Rise of Skywalker, Rey tells the Resistance leader Leia Organa that they'll need what navigational device to locate the First Order's fleet of Star Destroyers hiding on the planet Exegol.
A Sith Wayfinder.
Yes, which actress provides the voice of Maz Kanata, Han Solo's diminutive, goggles-wearing friend who appears in all 3 films?
Lupita Nyong'o.
Yes, in The Rise of Skywalker, Rey and her friends arrive on the planet Pasana during the colourful Aki Aki Festival, an event that takes place at a regular interval of how many years?
55.
No, 42. In The Last Jedi, while seeking a master codebreaker to access a starship and disable the First Order's tracking system, Finn, his friend Rose, and the robot BB-8 travel to a casino in what city?
Canto Bight.
Yes, in The Force Awakens, the scenery for the tree-bound planet Takodana was filmed in which area of woodland in the Forest of Dean in Western England?
Pass.
What's the name of the droid smith who lives on the planet Kijimi, whose help Poe, Rey and Finn try to enlist to recover a hidden message in C-3PO's memory banks?
Babu Frick.
Yes, which South African-born cinematographer is credited as director of photography on both The Force Awakens and The Rise of Skywalker?
Pass.
When Rey meets Han Solo on the Millennium Falcon in The Force Awakens, she tells him she stole the ship from Unkar Plutt, who'd stolen it from the Irving boys, who had in turn stolen it from whom?
Mando Calrissian.
No, Duquesne. When Poe angrily discusses tactics with Leia's successor, Vice Admiral Holdo, in The Last Jedi. I've started, so I'll finish. In The Last Jedi, she reminds him that Leia used to say, hope is like what?
The sun.
It is the sun. Dan, you had 2 passes. The South African-born cinematographer credited as director of photography on The Force Awakens and The Rise of Skywalker, Dan Mindell. And The Force Awakens, the scenery in the tree-bound planet Takodana is filmed in the Forest of Dean in a place called Puzzlewood.
Yes. Yep.
You knew that.
I did.
All right, 2 passes, 7 points. That's your lot.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. Your name?
Emma Cresswell.
Your occupation?
Teacher.
Your specialist subject?
Henry Moore.
The renowned British sculptor born in 1898. In 2 minutes, let's go. Henry Moore grew up in which Yorkshire mining town, describing its many slag heaps where he played as a child as being like pyramids?
Castleford.
Yes, which gallery in London hosted Moore's first solo exhibition in 1928, resulting in a number of his works being sold to fellow artists, including Jacob Epstein and Augustus John?
The Warren Gallery.
Yes, in 1936, Moore's works were among those assembled for a major exhibition at New York's Museum of Modern Art, curated by the museum's founding director, Alfred Barr, entitled Cubism and what?
Interpretism.
No, abstract art. What Latin name is commonly used for the hardwood, also known as guaiacum, which Moore used for his 1939 sculpture Bird Basket, one of his series of stringed figures?
Travertine.
No, lignum vitae. What large bronze sculpture installed outside the House of Lords in 1967 has become familiar to the public because, as Moore commented, whenever you see a politician being interviewed on television, the sculpture is there in the background?
Knife-edge two-piece.
Yes, referring to what he called a universal theme that had a religious element too. Moore once stated, "I discovered when drawing I could turn every little scribble, blot or smudge into a what?"
Natural object.
No, mother and child. Moore's Hampstead home and studio were bombed in 1940, so he moved with his wife Irina to Hertfordshire, renting which farmhouse at Perry Green, which later became their permanent home.
Hoglands.
Yes, several of Moore's war sketches of civilians sleeping underground during London's bombing raids were of a newly dug extension tunnel at which tube station where the rails and platforms were yet to be installed?
St James's Park.
No, Liverpool Street. What was the name of the Czech-born textile maker based in London for whom Moore contributed designs for a range of headscarves in the 1940s?
Epstein.
No, Zika Asher. Reclining figure, Moore's late 1950s sculpture for the forecourt of UNESCO's Paris headquarters, is made from what specific type of limestone, sometimes described as marble?
Travertine.
It is travertine. Emma, at the end of that round, you had no passes. You have 5 points. And our next contender, please. Your name,
James Sowden,
your occupation,
wine merchant.
and your specialist subject.
Band Elbow.
The chart-topping Mercury Prize-winning band fronted by Guy Garvey. In 2 minutes, let's go. The 5 founding members of Elbow, who met at Sixth Form College in Greater Manchester, are Guy Garvey, Pete Turner and Richard Jupp, as well as 2 brothers, Craig and Mark, who have what surname?
Potter.
Yes, in the late 1990s, Elbow signed with which record label just before it was bought by Universal, who then dropped the band from the label, resulting in a delay to the release of their debut album?
Island.
Yes, Elbow's second single, Powder Blue, released in 2001, opens with the line, "Your eyes are just like black." What?
Coal.
No, Spiders. The 2005 release, Leaders of the Free World, was the first Elbow album to be recorded at Watt Studios in Queen Street, Salford.
Blue Note.
No, Blueprint Studios. The song Friend of Ours was written in memory of which friend of the band, after whom the seldom seen kid, the 2008 album on which the song appears, was also named.
Brian Glancy.
Yes, the track, Jesus is a Rochdale Girl, the first song recorded for the album Build a Rocket Boys, was written by Elbow during a visit to which Scottish island?
Mull.
Yes, what's the title of the piece of music composed by Elbow and recorded with the BBC Philharmonic Orchestra, which was used as the main theme for the BBC's coverage of the London 2012 Olympics?
First Step.
Yes, founding member and drummer Richard Jupp announced his departure from the band's lineup in March 2016, having made his final live appearance with Elbow at which festival the previous August?
Glastonbury.
No, Kendall Calling. The cover art for Elbow's 2017 album Little Fictions, which depicts a figure walking across a landscape strewn with piles of rocks beneath a red sky, was created by which illustrator?
Pass.
What's the title of the 2024 Elbow song, which tells the story of a lost relationship in which the narrator recounts that he split for a tryst with a Rust Belt girl with a Plantagenet fringe?
Dexter and Sinister.
No, Baloo. Elbow's song Dexter and Sinister, the lead single from the 2019... I've just started so finish. Elbow's song Dexter and Sinister, the lead single from the 2019 album Giants of All Sizes, features which American-born singer on backing vocals?
Jessica Hoop.
It is Jessica Hoop. James, you had just the one pass, the cover art for Elbow's 2017 album Little Fictions, depicting a figure walking across a landscape. It was created by Rob Hunter. And at the end of that round, James, you've got 6 points.
Thank you.
And our final contender, please. Your name.
Morgan Bush.
Your occupation
Student.
and your specialist subject.
King Edward VI.
The son of Henry VIII and Jane Seymour, who became King of England and Ireland at the age of just 9 and died when he was 15. In 2 minutes, let's go. Edward's godparents, all of whom attended his christening at Hampton Court on the 15th of October, 1537, included which family member as his godmother?
Elizabeth I.
No, Princess Mary. What was the name of Edward's school friend, said by the 17th century historian Thomas Fuller to have been whipped in place of Edward when he misbehaved, though this was later thought to be a myth?
Barnaby Fitzpatrick.
Yes, which book, established by the First Act of Uniformity of Edward VI in 1549, prompted a rebellion in Sampford Courtenay in Devon?
The Book of Common Prayer.
Yes, following the death of Henry VIII, the Council of Executors, appointed by him to rule in Edward's name, agreed that Edward's uncle, Edward Seymour, was to have first and chief place among us, and also the name and title of the what?
Protector.
Yes, which former secretary of Henry VIII did Edward strip of the Order of the Garter, saying that he was no gentleman either on his father's side nor his mother's side?
Stephen Gardiner.
No, William Paget. What was the name of the Burgundian jewel bought by Edward in May 1551 for 100,000 English crowns?
The Black Prince's Ruby.
No, the Three Brothers. What's the Latin title of the book used in the crowning of English kings since the 14th century, which provided the framework for Edward's coronation on the 20th of February 1547?
The Te Deum.
No, Liber Regalis. What was the name of Edward's relative who was executed for treason in 1549 after trying to kidnap him, shooting his beloved pet spaniel in the process?
Thomas Seymour.
Yes. On what expanse of land just outside Norwich did Robert Kett set up camp on the 12th of July 1549 and spark a rebellion that was eventually suppressed on Edward's behalf by the Earl of Warwick?
Mousehold Heath.
Yes, which Italian physician and astrologer cast Edward's horoscope, predicting a long life for the king, but warning that at the ages of 32, 34 and 55, he would suffer from various illnesses, including skin disease and a slight fever?
Jean Chèvre.
No, Hieronymus Cardano. Before altering his devise or will to allow the crown to pass to Lady... to allow the crown to pass to Lady Jane Grey directly, Edward originally documented that in the event of his death, it would first pass to the male heirs of which duchess who had no sons at the time?
The Duchess of Winchester.
No, the Duchess of Suffolk. So, Morgan, at the end of that round, you had no passes. You've got 5 points.
Thank you.
And at the end of the specialist subjects round, let's have a look at the scores. In joint third place with 5 points are Emma and Morgan. In second place with 6 points is James. And in first place with 7 points, it's Dan. So now to general knowledge. And if there's a tie at the end of this round, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, it's a tie break. So let's ask Emma to join us again, please. So Emma, you start with 5 points. You've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. In a common expression, if you're aware of how to act in order to get what you want, it's said that you know which side your bread is what?
Buttered.
Yes. Guangdong and Yunnan are provinces in which Asian country?
Taiwan.
No, China. The kings George V and George VI both died at which royal residence in Norfolk?
Sandringham.
Yes. Alligator pear is a name sometimes given to what fruit, which contains a large stone and is commonly used as a salad ingredient?
Avocado.
Yes, what Russian name, often translated as fellow traveller or travelling companion, was given to a pioneering series of satellites launched by the Soviet Union in the 1950s?
Sputnik.
Yes, at the age of 28 in 2013, Eleanor Catton became the youngest author to be awarded the Booker Prize when she won for which novel?
The Butterfly.
No, the Luminaries, the New Jersey Devils, the Dallas Stars and the Ottawa Senators are professional teams in what sport?
Baseball.
No, ice hockey, the popular 1980s computer game in which a character named Willie has to retrieve objects from 20 underground caverns before his oxygen runs out, is called Manic what?
Explorer.
No, Minor. Which English city's airport is designated by the international code BRS?
Glasgow.
No, Bristol. Which American group comprising 3 siblings named Taylor, Isaac and Zach had a UK #1 single in 1997 entitled Bop?
Hanson.
Yes, in 2014, the British adventurer Nick Hancock spent a record 45 days on which rocky outcrop in the Atlantic Ocean, more than 200 miles west of the Outer Hebrides?
Shetland.
No, Rockall, which silent era film star, was played by Robert Downey Jr. in a 1992 biopic directed by Richard Attenborough?
Scott of the Antarctic.
No, Charlie Chaplin. The word leonine means resembling or relating to what big cat?
A lion.
Yes, which military leader and future British Prime Minister was born in Dublin in 1769?
Asquith.
No, Duke of Wellington. The works of which prolific British composer include the theme tunes for the television soaps Crossroads, Emmerdale and Neighbours?
Pass.
In Norse mythology, Valhalla, the Hall of Slain Warriors, is located in what heavenly realm which is home to many gods?
Sondheim.
No, Asgard. The PSA blood test measures... I've started, so I'll finish. The PSA blood test measures the levels of a certain protein in men's bodies and is used to detect potential issues with which gland?
Prostate.
It is the prostate gland. Emma, you had just the one pass. Tony Hatch was the composer of the music to Crossroads, Emmerdale and Neighbours. So at the end of that round, Emma, you've got 12 points. Next up, it's Morgan. Morgan, you start with 5 points. The score to beat as it stands is 12 points, and you've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. The food additive monosodium glutamate, often used to enhance the flavour of certain East Asian dishes, is commonly known by what three-letter abbreviation?
MSG.
Yes, in the Back to the Future film trilogy, the main character, Marty McFly, is played by which actor?
Michael J. Fox.
Yes, when expressed as a fraction, the figure 0.875 is equal to how many eighths?
7.
Yes, which daily newspaper, founded as a weekly publication in 1817, was initially subtitled the Edinburgh Political and Literary Journal?
The London Review of Books.
No, the Scotsman. The Yoruba, Hausa and Dinka are ethnic groups that originated in which continent?
Africa.
Yes, which Nobel laureate, born in Rome in 1901, is credited with designing and building the world's first nuclear reactor as part of a team of scientists led by Professor Arthur Holly Compton at the University of Chicago?
Teller.
No, Fermi. Which American singer topped the UK albums chart in April 2024 with a country and western influenced release entitled Cowboy Carter, featuring Dolly Parton and Willie Nelson?
Beyonce.
Yes, the diet of the koala is made up almost exclusively of the leaves of which tree?
The eucalyptus.
Yes, in which novel by Leo Tolstoy does the title character have a love affair with an army officer named Count Vronsky?
Anna Karenina.
Yes, which Australian tennis player nicknamed Nuke won 3 Wimbledon men's singles titles between 1967 and 1971?
Andre Agassi.
No, John Newcombe. The Queen Elizabeth II Bridge, which crosses the River Thames at Dartford, connects the Kent and Essex sections of which motorway?
The M25.
Yes, in the famous equation E equals mc squared proposed by Albert Einstein, what is represented by the letter C?
The speed of light.
Yes, the American actor Freddie Prinze Jr. married which actress in 2002 after starring opposite her in the 1997 horror film I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yes, the treaty that established the European Union is informally named after which Dutch city where it was signed in 1992?
Maastricht.
Yes, what French term, usually translated as deceive the eye, is used to describe 2-dimensional artworks that appear to have 3-dimensional elements?
Idéfix.
No, trompe-l'oeil. What television game show that began in 1982 was being presented by Richard Whiteley, Des O'Connor and Jeff Stelling, among others?
Countdown.
Yes, immediately before Mozambique gained independence in the 1970s, it was a colony of which European country?
Portugal.
Yes, what name derived from a Greek word meaning poppy juice is given to a powerful pain-killing drug widely used in medicine?
Morphine.
That contains the alkaloids morphine and codeine? No, opium.
Sorry.
And Morgan, at the end of that round, you had no passes. You've got 18 points.
Thank you very much.
Next up, it's James. James, you start with 6 points. The score to beat as it stands is 18 points, and you've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. In the Gregorian calendar, the 2 months of the year, beginning with the letter A, are April and which other month?
August.
Yes. Which organ, situated in the upper part of the abdominal cavity beneath the diaphragm, is the largest internal organ of the human body?
The intestine.
No, the liver. In the Carnival of the Animals by Saint-Saëns, the swan is played by what stringed instrument accompanied only by 2 pianos?
Cello.
Yes. Which golfer was named BBC Northern Ireland Sports Personality of the Year in 2011, 2012 and 2014?
Rory McIlroy.
Yes. The seeds of which plant of the genus Chenopodium, native to the Andean regions of South America, are now popularly used as a gluten-free health food?
Quinoa.
Yes. In filmmaking, what 3-letter word is traditionally used by a director as an instruction to the camera operator to stop filming?
Cut.
Yes. The Hoover Dam stands on which river at the border between the US states of Arizona and Nevada?
Colorado.
Yes. What jukebox musical, which ran for 12 years in the West End from 2002, features characters called Scaramouche, Killer Queen and Galileo Figaro?
We Will Rock You.
Yes. What name, partly derived from the Latin for garden, is given to the branch of agriculture dealing with fruits, vegetables and ornamental plants?
Market gardening.
No, horticulture. Which American businessman and politician from a family who accrued its vast wealth from oil served as US vice president from 1974 to 1977?
Agnew.
No, Rockefeller. What name abbreviated to the letter V is given to the standard international unit of electrical potential?
Volt.
Yes, the Hanna-Barbera character Quick Draw McGraw is a cartoon representation of what animal?
Dog.
No, horse. Which American author wrote the novels The Stand, The Tommyknockers and Dolores Claiborne?
King.
Yes. What was the surname of the brothers Brian and Eddie, who, together with Lamont Dozier, made up a renowned songwriting trio who produced hits for the Supremes, the Four Tops and Martha and the Vandellas, among others?
Hunsaker.
No, Holland. An ancient Chinese military treatise traditionally attributed to a general named Sun Tzu is known in English as the art of what?
War.
Yes. What Roman deity, a goddess of wisdom and the arts, is commonly identified with the Greek goddess Athena?
Minerva.
Yes. What alternative name for the device known as a polygraph refers to the nature of its use by law enforcement agencies?
Lie detector test.
Yes. Which Scottish singer married Maurice Gibb of the Bee Gees in 1969? And later, in the 1970s, the celebrity hairstylist and businessman John Frieda?
Sheena Easton.
No. Lulu. James, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 18 points. And finally, let's have Dan again, please. So, Dan, you start with 7 points. The score to beat to get through to the semi-finals is James and Morgan's 18 points. And you've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. What word for a band fitted around the neck of a cat or dog is also the name for the part of a shirt that folds down over a tie?
Conga.
Yes, the area known as Silicon Valley, noted as a center for the electronics industry, is in which US state?
California.
Yes, the 7th letter of the Greek alphabet, eta, most closely resembles what letter of the English alphabet in uppercase?
E.
No, H. What scale for measuring the pungency of chili peppers is named after the American pharmacist who devised it in 1912?
The Scoville scale.
Yes, in December 2023, which football club won the Scottish Men's League Cup, beating Aberdeen 1-0 in the final?
Glasgow Rangers.
Yes, Rangers. The films Platoon, Born on the 4th of July, and Heaven and Earth make up the Vietnam trilogy, directed by which American filmmaker?
Oliver Stone.
Yes, which Scandinavian country became the 32nd member of NATO in March 2024, almost a year after its neighbour Finland joined in 2023?
Sweden.
Yes, the ventriloquist Keith Harris rose to prominence in the 1980s as the operator of a nappy-wearing green duck puppet with what name?
Orville.
Yes, a musical work known as the Adagio for Strings, first performed in 1938, is an arrangement from his earlier string quartet by which American composer?
Samuel Barber.
Yes, in 1131, the Frankish princess Melisande and her husband Fulk V of Anjou became the joint rulers of which Middle Eastern city?
Jerusalem.
Yes, the title of which influential treatise on political philosophy written by Thomas Hobbes and published in 1651 is also the name of a biblical sea monster.
Leviathan.
Yes, the first three members of the alkane series of hydrocarbons are methane, ethane, and which other compound?
Pass.
Which British artist, born in 1887 and known for his industrial landscapes, had the first names Lawrence Stephen?
Turner.
No, Lowry. What term used in trigonometry is often abbreviated to the letters COS?
Cosine.
Yes, the song My Way, popularised by Frank Sinatra, is based on a French tune entitled Comme d'habitude. Which singer and songwriter wrote the English lyrics to the tune?
Cole Porter.
No, Paul Anka. Which ill-fated character in Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet is described in the play's original character list as a kinsman to the prince and friend to Romeo?
Mercutio.
Yes, which major religion is known to its followers as Gurmat, a Punjabi word often translated as way of the Guru?
Sikhism.
It is Sikhism. Dan, you had just the one pass. First three members of the alkane series of hydrocarbons, methane, ethane, and propane. Yes. But you know what, Dan? It doesn't matter. You've done it. You've got 20 points.
Thank you.
Well, it was pretty close in the end, so let's have a look at the final scores. In fourth place with 12 points is Emma. In joint second place with 18 points are James and Morgan. And in first place with 20 points, it's Dan, which means he goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to him. If you'd like to be a contender in the next series, please go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us at Mastermind Quiz. Join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
I'm not really like a quiz player, so to win the heat is just a really surreal feeling, and it just feels amazing. I was happy to be leading at half-time, but Morgan and James played so well in their general knowledge rounds, and I was really worried that I wouldn't be able to keep up with them.
So, Dan, you start with 7 points. The score to beat to get through to the semi-finals is James and Morgan's 18 points.
But in the end, I was able to bring it out and really pull off what I thought was impossible. Conga.
Yes.
Samuel Barber.
Yes.
Sikhism.
Yes. You've done it. You've got 20 points.
Thank you. When I was a kid, my dad would always ask me questions just to try and build my general knowledge and just to have fun. And being here doing this really sort of makes me feel like I'm thrown back to that time. My dad's no longer with us, so I like to think that wherever he is, he's proud of me today.